and I just charged up the rocket launcher to maximum charge and took out like 5 Bianco Angelos in one go. Just completed that entire floor in one hit. SSS ranks ridiculous. Also, surprisingly, Lady can double jump while Vergil can't, because she used the rocket launcher to rocket jump. I think that's amusing. In place of Devil Trigger, Lady's magic gauge is grenades. So basically, when you press the button, she will drain the entire gauge to throw a bunch of grenades all around her to do a load of damage. These grenades, they do damage based on how full the magic gauge was when you use the attack. So obviously, full gauge is going to do a ton of damage. In fact, a fully charged grenade attack, at least on the lowest difficulty, can actually take out the second boss fight, Dante, in one hit. It's very powerful because aerial combat is really limited for Lady because, of course, she's range focused. So it's hard to get the enemies in the air, and that's where some of the other characters kind of have a good advantage. It's trickier for Lady. Some parts of the game are generally harder. I find that the fight against Human Agnes is really tough for both Lady and Vergil because they can't use Buster, which is a shame, but I guess you just have to accept that. But it makes that level I really kind of dread playing through it again with those two characters. So I've spoken a lot about Lady because she's the character I've been using the most, really. But then we have Trish. Trish is kind of designed, I think she's supposed to be kind of like a bit more newcomer friendly because they simplified it by saying, oh, she doesn't switch between weapons. Basically the way she works is she uses Sparda by default. Her attacks come in largely from Dante and Vergil, and when she uses a move like Round Trip, it can actually be maintained in one spot and just keep hitting an enemy, and then Trish is going round hand to hand. I don't know why you can't just switch, but Trish can throw Sparda for moves like Round Trip and such, and then Trish is going in hand to hand with some really awesome moves. Like she has like Chun-Li's spinning bird kick, and combining that with Round Trip can just destroy enemies, and especially those big red crystal things you get red orbs from, just destroys it and you get tons of red orbs. It's great. Trish's moves are okay, but because she just copies from the other characters, I mean, that's the thing with Lady. Yes, she has handguns like Dante, she has a shotgun like Dante, Kalina and like Dante did in 3. But she still feels wholly her own. She borrows a few moves here and there, and a lot of those are still changed. You know, she has a lot more variety. Trish's moves are just largely borrowed from Dante and Vergil, and she doesn't really have a whole lot of identity on her own. I mean, she even has Pandora for some of her attacks for no reason. Though that does prove really useful against a saviour, I must say. There's also a bunch of alternate costumes available in the game. If you get a certain number of kills on each campaign during the credits, and Lady and Trish is cool because it actually picks one of the two characters at random, I think, while the other one's off killing enemies off in the distance. It's great. Dante's is based on DMC, Nero's is based on Vergil, Vergil's is DMC3 Red Vergil, Trish's is based on Lady, and Lady's is based on Trish. And they're all good. I also really like Trish when she has these red framed glasses with the Lady colour scheme. It's great. Dante, Nero and Vergil all also get an alternate costume. For Dante it's Sparda because, yeah, that's what fans wanted to see, a fully HD rendition of Sparda, not DMC 1, or 2 or 3. No, we just wanted Sparda. It's fine having that as a costume, but as the only one, really? I mean, even DMC had DMC3 and 1 versions of Dante's DLC at some point. I'm just saying. Nero gets one based on an early concept design, which is actually quite good, though it's kind of... It almost doesn't fit Devil May Cry. I've heard it described as being more like something you see in like Kingdom Hearts, and I have to agree. Vergil gets Corrupt Vergil, but it's not the same, because his Devil Trigger is just Sparda. It's like MVC3. Like, he's way better in Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, where it actually turned you into Nilo Angelo with different moves. That was great, but they don't do that here. If you pre-ordered the game, you also get Lady's DMC3 outfit and Gloria for Trish. I don't know why they're not in the game by default. I really don't understand what the point of making them a separate thing was. I mean, why those two of the characters that people are most going to want to play? I mean, maybe that's what it was. It was so that if people didn't pre-order, well, you can just buy the costumes now, and you might as well. You're probably going to have to, because you're going to want to use these characters a lot. You don't want to use the same 2 costumes over and over again, do you? Unfortunately, the game lacks a physical release outside Japan. I think the Japanese version, you can get the text in English as well as the voices. I'm not sure about the text exactly, but if you know the game well enough, that won't really matter. So yeah, you could always import it if you really want a physical release in that awesome limited edition that we didn't get over here, because, you know, Capcom are being arseholes. It really does feel like Capcom's trying to sabotage the Devil May Cry series by giving DMC a full retail physical release, but not giving one to DMC4. So, bottom line, is the game worth buying? Well, 20 quid digital is pretty good. I mean, I know the core game is 7 years old now, but of course it still holds up really well. It still looks great, and I feel like there are certain times, or it might just be the lighting, but I'm sure there are certain times where the graphics look a bit better. Not too much, not enough to sell you on it, but it's a little bit. Mainly when looking at Kyrie in the early scenes. But even if you're not really interested in the new Features Special Edition, I would say, if you're a Devil May Cry fan, obviously if you're not interested, you're not interested, but if you are a Devil May Cry fan, I would ask that you buy it anyway. I wouldn't normally do this, but this is a case where the entire future of the series could be on the line here. There have been comments made by people at Capcom about how Devil May Cry 5, I think it is in development, but how fast it gets made is based on how well this game sells, which sounds really weird. So it's possible this is another Dark Souls situation where if this doesn't sell, well, that's it. And I really don't want Devil May Cry to go away. I really don't want the last note for this series to be the reboot. I mean, the reboot's a good game in its own right, but it'd be like ending the Halo series with Halo Wars. It's a good game that people should play, but that's not what you want to end the series on. You want, if you had to end, you want it to be a big, spectacular thing, not that, you know? If you have never played Devil May Cry before, well, if you have a previous gen console, like the demo should still be available. I'm not entirely sure for the original release. It depends on how much of an action game fan you are. If you've played Bayonetta, it's basically that. You know, it's the systems in the specific systems are different, but it's very much the same. Like Bayonetta is kind of the true successor to Devil May Cry at this point. Very solid action game. Story kind of bare bones. There's a lot of stuff that was supposed to make it in but didn't. But you can easily find that stuff online to kind of fill in those little blanks here and there. You don't really need to know the series' full story to understand it, but you'd appreciate it a lot more if you've played like 1 and 3, which precede this one. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition is available on the PS4, Xbox One, and I think PC. It is a solid action game, one of the best action games of the last generation. Really still holds up even 7 years on, and if it sells well, then hopefully we'll be getting another game that could be even better. So please take that into consideration before deciding whether or not to buy the game.